The next card is Tom Quiche.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, my name's Tom Quiche. I volunteer at your local animal shelter, the Baldwin Park Animal Care Center, but I'm here speaking in my own individual capacity. I know you all are limited in your influence regarding the care center, so please understand that I'm not here to discuss policies or procedures at the BPACC. A few months ago, I was shocked to hear that a handful of cities do not have spay and neuter laws or require microchips, Azusa being one of them. According to PETA, one unaltered female dog and her offspring can produce 67,000 puppies in just 6 years. While that sounds exaggerated, even if they're off by a factor of 10 or 100, that's still 670 puppies. The more animals that come in and fewer that walk out the front door, the result is the greater number of them never getting to touch grass again, as they are tragically put in bags or barrels and wheeled out the back after being euthanized. Before I proceed, I'd like to thank you for already showcasing dogs. Fritz, who was here last time, he had a dog here. He was adopted, and I love Socks over there. I actually gave him a bath today myself with another volunteer. I want to present a scenario to illustrate that this is not just an animal issue or an animal lover issue, but a societal problem. Rex, an unaltered dog, gets out of a backyard because of wanderlust. While out, he impregnates Joni, then bumps into Jake, another unaltered male, and the two of them get into a hormone-fueled battle. A do-gooder gets bitten on the hand trying to break up the fight before the dogs scurry off, only for Rex to get hit by a car, causing a major traffic incident, which requires EMTs, the PD, and animal control. Officers spend time taking Rex to an outside vet, searching for Jake, and the dangerous dog investigating unit gets involved. That is scores of billable workforce hours, an outside vet for Rex, plus vaccines, impound, and boarding fees. All those financial costs go to the city where the dogs were found. All because two unaltered males do what unaltered males do. Afraid of getting into trouble, Rex's family abandons him. The decision causes a rift in the family that will haunt them for years to come. Jake ends up being held for months because he becomes evidence. His people consider hiring a lawyer to get him back, but they have to painfully choose between 4 months' worth of gas and groceries or hiring a lawyer. And Joni, well, her people dump her because of 2 previous litters. They dump them as 2. And this time they dumped Joni because of the toll the pregnancies had on her. Since they all come from Azusa, guess who pays? Y'all pay. Every way, case, surrendered, or stray, Azusa pays. Again, it's not just about animals. It's not just about money. The teacher who could have gotten bitten on the hand in front of school children will never be able to play piano in church again. And maybe 3 of those kids will never trust a dog in their entire life. That car accident put 2 seniors in the ICU who maybe were heading to their 60th wedding anniversary and never showed up. The incident took first responders away from other life-saving tasks. All 3 dogs get euthanized. Jake because of the bite, Rex after having to have his leg amputated, and after 9 weeks of no one coming for him, and Joni, a broken down puppy machine whose only time out of her yard in her entire life after the age of 8 was to be brought to the shelter. And yes, all those deaths crush all of us that volunteer or work at the shelter and all in our community that love animals. So, when comparing the last 2 years, the numbers of admissions from Azusa with Monte Park, which has a larger population and mandates spay, neutering, and microchipping, admissions in Azusa are climbing while those in Monte Park remain nearly stagnant. Although you have significantly fewer people, you've had more than double the number of admissions to the care center in 2024. That's 392 compared to 186. Again, they have like 10,000 more people. Mandating spay and neutering can reduce the number of animals entering the shelters and save lives. It could prevent roaming, fights, traffic incidents, physical and emotional trauma, and it could lower costs for the people of Azusa. Please consider mandating spay, neutering, and microchipping. And you're going to love Socks. Thank you.
The next card is Veronica Menjivar.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Veronica. I'm just here of a lover of beings. I'm going to follow up with a story. So Fritz was a lucky dog. I'll tell you about another lucky one, Kiki, a personality-filled white shepherd with a turned-out front paw that made him look like a ballet dancer in the 4th position. His people had lost him, but because he wasn't chipped and maybe he wasn't brought to the shelter for weeks, the time went by and his people gave up hope of ever finding him. As luck would have it, they saw a volunteer's video on social media and raced down to bring him home, only a few days before he would have been euthanized. We could tell you stories about families who weren't so lucky and about heartbroken people who walked through shelters searching for their loved ones. Reflecting on the recent fires and all the pets that were displaced, those with microchips and up-to-date info were able to return home. Through tears, people who had lost everything celebrated life and love with their furry companions. I want to discuss more numbers comparing Azusa with Monterey Park. When examining data on microchipping and the percentage of animals returned to their owners, the two cities have totally different trends. Monterey Park, again, has mandated spay and neuter and microchipping. Azusa doesn't yet. In 2022, Azusa had a 22% return rate compared to Monterey Park's 13%. In 2023, Azusa had 20% return compared to only 19%. But in 2024, just last year, Azusa had a 14% return compared to Monterey Park's 22% return. Coincidence? Probably not. A 2000 American Veterinary Medical Association journal study showed that 22% of non-chipped dogs entering shelters were returned to owners, compared to 52% when a dog was microchipped. That's more than twice the amount. That's also around 30 more dogs returned to the owners per 100. In this study, only 2% of unchipped cats were returned to owners compared to 40% of microchipped cats. The results would have been more dramatic if more than 60% of the chips had actually been registered with up-to-date information. I have two more scenarios that I'd like to share. One is a dog named Chip. Chip was found and brought to the care center. The officers discovered a microchip linked to a phone number with an address. They looked up his records, and since his license and shots were all up to date, they called the number on the file and informed the owners that if he could arrive within the next hour or two, they would do them a favor and wait to initiate the impound process. Chip was returned at no cost to his people or Azusa, and his family was overjoyed that he was back home, and they were happy it didn't cost them anything. Scenario 2 is a dog named Missy. Missy was found in Azusa without a tag and with no microchip. Because officers knew nothing about her or her story, she got 3 vaccines and a rabies shot. Doesn't matter, she didn't need them. They had no way of knowing. Her family was looking for her, but they were searching in the wrong shelters, as she had run dozens of miles from her home before someone could catch her. Because no one came for Missy, Azusa incurred the cost of the impound fee, the 4 injections, and paid every day she stayed at the shelter up to the max amount. In every way, no matter the case, surrendered or stray, you pay. Even though her people continued to scroll the wrong websites for her, she was unceremoniously euthanized due to the lack of space and length of stay. By adopting microchipping, the people in the city of Azusa will save lives, money, and help reunite families with their loved ones more efficiently and quickly. The shelter doesn't want any more animals. They want the animals to go home as fast as possible. Microchipping helps animals reunite families. It helps officers determine what animals need vaccines or rabies shots. Please mandate microchipping in Azusa. It's fewer impounds, fewer days in the shelter system, less cost to the city, and there's going to be way more reunited, happy families. Thank you for your time.
The next card is Robert Arnold.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Robert Arnold. I'm a volunteer at the Baldwin Park Animal Care Center, though I'm here speaking in my own capacity. My wife and I have been volunteers there for 10 years now, and we have together through that shelter system and several other rescues, we've had 12 rescue animals, 5 coming from the Baldwin Park shelter, and 3 of which still are presently in our homes, which we love like our own. There's just too many animals that are coming into the shelter system and not getting out. Whatever you as a city can do to reduce the number of animals coming in and increase the number exiting the front door, we, and when I say we, all animal lovers, will appreciate it. We hope you'll continue to feature some of the animals at Baldwin Park, and we invite all of you to come and visit the shelter and see it firsthand. There are so many amazing animals. I can speak firsthand of that. I have them at home. And the majority of whom did nothing to deserve being brought to the shelter or ending up there other than being guilty of being born in a place and during a time when just too many are being born. I'd like to discuss animal control. Every hour, animal control officers in your city are answering critical or priority calls, attempting to catch strays, pick up an injured or dead animal, investigating complaints, incidences, filing reports, every required outside visit, and every day a case dog sits in a kennel waiting for parties to pick them up. All adds up financially quickly. We're sure that the people of Azusa do not want stray animals roaming their streets, and they of course don't want to hit them with their cars or see them hit. They all desire safety for their families and pets, and don't want to encounter stray dogs at Northside, Valleydale, or Dalton Park, or in their yards or driveways. They don't want to pay. They don't want to pay for other people's strays surrendered animals, or bite investigations. They don't want the police and EMTs dealing with dog bites and traffic accidents that could have been prevented. They don't want animals getting sick in shelters due to overcrowding, and definitely don't want to risk the increase of rabies or other animal diseases in society. They don't want to contribute to animals being euthanized when it can easily be prevented. The more animals that come into Azusa, the more Azusa pays. The more time officers spend in Azusa, the more billable hours. The more dead and wounded animals on the road, more charges. More calls about dog fights, bites, and stray dogs, more charges. The truth is, this is all enforceable. However, there aren't enough officers due to the high number of animals entering the system. They are constantly operating from behind. They don't have the time to patrol, to address noise complaints, educate the public, nor do outreach. If officers had more time, they could enforce the laws on the books, crack down on the cases of illegal backyard breeding, neglect, hoarding, animal cruelty, and animal fighting. All of those who think that it's too expensive to microchip, spay, neuter an animal, there are low-cost options, vouchers, and some nonprofits that can help. Plus, all the animals adopted at the local shelter get vaccinated, they're spayed and neutered, and they're microchipped. And I thank you for the opportunity. Please, along with other neighboring cities that have also stepped up to enforce the spay and neuter and microchipping, we'd love to see Azusa be part of that. Thank you so much for your time.
The next card is Alex Charlier.
Good evening. My name is Alex. I'm also a volunteer at Baldwin Park Animal Care Center. I'm here tonight speaking in my individual capacity. Like my friends before me, I too love animals. I would tell you about some of my friends, our friends, the dogs and cats who didn't make it out, but I'm guessing you understand how difficult it is without us mentioning names or showing pictures. But I can tell you firsthand, animal shelters across Southern California are overwhelmed, and we're here asking for your help. We understand that Azusa alone can't solve this crisis. Azusa is just one of 88 cities in Los Angeles County, and Los Angeles County is just one of the 10 counties in Southern California. But we are asking you to please try to do more. Imagine every city, town, and neighborhood made just one more improvement, one more commitment. Imagine if 5 fewer animals came into the shelters each month from each city. That would be 440 animals a month in the LA County alone. And if 5 more got adopted each month, that would make a difference of 880 lives in a month. That would be a difference of 10,560 animals a year. Volunteers, rescuers, fosters, adopters, and shelter staff show up every day knowing we can't save every animal. We are drowning in animals. Every day, more come in than are adopted out. Still, we keep trying. We continue to push for changes because even the smallest steps can make a real difference. We're asking you as leaders of this community to continue to help us help them. Please continue to advocate for the animals. By far, the most significant thing Azusa can do is mandating, spaying, neutering, and microchipping. Those 3 things would be a significant step in helping to reduce the number of animals entering shelters, not only from Azusa, but also from neighboring cities, as well as getting loved ones out of the shelter and back home quickly. Thank you for your time and for considering how this city can be a voice and a lifeline for the animals who cannot speak for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and your service to the community. And my dog is Chip, by the way. I got it back. They got out of the yard, and because they were Chip, they were returned back to us. So it is a great thing to do. Thank you.